Good morning and Happy New Year. Welcome back to another Saturday Somm-things with Mats. Hi, I'm Mats, or as I like to call it, drinking wine at 9. I hope that everybody had a safe and tasty holiday season. Today at Argonaut, I have a first-timer to the table. His name is Ben Stewart. He works for Giuliana Imports, and he's just a master at New World wines, Old World wines. We have a great lineup today, but first I want to show you the shirt I got from Santa Claus number 1 and 2. How cool is that? Perfectly appropriate for tasting these winter warmers, as we're calling them. So Ben, welcome to the table. This is your show, so let's go.
Thanks so much for having me today. It's great to be here for our first Somm-things. I know a lot of people out there are doing their dry Januaries. Luckily, I have taken a little bit easier in December this year, so I'm still able to be enjoying my wines this month, and it's really great to be here with you guys.
Okay. Wine number 1.
Yeah, so today we've got two different producers on the table and 4 different labels. The first 2 wines are both made by a remarkable winemaker named Bill Easton, and he's based in the Sierra foothills in California. So this is a little bit further inland. When people think about California, they often think about Napa first and foremost. After that, Sonoma, maybe Santa Barbara, and the Central Coast. Here we're up closer to Napa in terms of latitude, but further inland. We're up in the Sierra foothills, the mountain ranges there, very high elevation wines. He's got 2 labels. One is the Easton label, which is for primarily Zinfandel, but he does a wide range of international varieties there, like Cabernet and Pinot Noir. And then Domaine de la Terre Rouge, which is actually his first project. And that was primarily, and sort of what his claim to fame is, not sort of, it is definitely his claim to fame, Syrah and Rhone varieties.
This smells incredible. I'm getting a lot of cassis, dried fruit, autumn leaves, some blackberry, white pepper, black cherry. It's a big wine. It's a big Zin.
Absolutely. So this is his Amador County Zinfandel. Zinfandel is beautiful all over California. But here you get these beautiful plum notes, dark, brambly fruit. You get spice. You get really lovely elegance and mineral.
Black cherry, birch bark. It's a big wine. What would you pair with this?
With this, I mean, I love anything grilled. I think any of the wines today will pair really well with anything grilled.
Sure.
Anything, and I don't mean just meats. You could do awesome grilled vegetables with these, even some more spicy dishes, because there is so much richness to this wine.
Oh, there is. And this is the current vintage, 2016, which says a lot. So...
Yeah, Bill holds his wine back because he wants to. His winemaking style makes these really beautiful and complex wines, but they require time, and so he doesn't release them until he thinks they're ready to drink. So 2016 is the current vintage release.
So wine number 2, this California Syrah.
So Syrah, as I said, is Bill's claim to fame. He was one of the very first producers of Rhone varieties, specifically Syrah, in the early 80s. So in 1983, he moved up to the Sierra foothills and started planting Syrah up there, very much like what we find in the Rhone. Nobody else was really doing this. There was a small cohort known as the Rhone Rangers, of which he's a part.
Right. I like it because it's gripping. It's tannic. It's firm. It's calling for food. You want a filet or a porterhouse, something, chicken cacciatore, listen to me, can't even talk, because the tannins are just so firm and solid. Whew.
Yeah, and I mean, it shows a really nice amount of that structure, the tannin, but it's blackberry fruit. I mean, the wine in the glass is dark. And, I think that Syrah is a very underappreciated grape these days. And I think when people who enjoy Cabernet Sauvignon or enjoy Merlot, want to find something a little bit more exciting. Syrah is one of the most expressive grapes. It's got this sort of wild side to it. Yeah. Spice and...
Right. And people always note that Shiraz and Syrah are the same grape. They're just different pronunciations in different parts of the world.
Yeah, primarily Shiraz is what you'll find in the southern hemisphere. Like in Australia, it's always known as Shiraz. You'll also find examples from South America.
Sure.
In the United States, we don't have a whole lot of examples of Syrah here in the U.S. domestically. But the Sierra foothills, you'll find more in Sonoma. You'll find some down in Santa Barbara as well, though bills are quite extraordinary. One more thing that I point out about the wine, these wines are unfiltered. So you'll find some sediment in these wines.
Yep.
And that is something that lends dramatically to the complexity of the wine.
Sure.
And it's not something to be afraid of. In fact, it's something to be celebrated, and it really makes for a more remarkable wine.
You can embrace it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Italy.
Yeah, so
Wine number 3.
We're going across the pond to Umbria. So this is an area. This is where Francis of Assisi is from, St. Francis. So just down the street, about 8 minutes down the street from Assisi, we have Lorenzo Mattoni's vineyards. He's got a small estate down there, only about the size of, I guess you could say the north side, Highlands.
Sure.
There. 9 hectares of vines up there. And this is a Sagrantino area. Sagrantino was originally just a sacramental wine, not just a sacramental wine, but it was the sacramental wine. And it was always created sweet. However, Lorenzo's grandfather was the first winemaker to ever make it dry. And now today, Montefalco Sagrantino, which will be the last wine we taste, is always fermented dry. They penned this appellation. It's remarkable wine. This is categorically and objectively the most tannic wine, Sagrantino.
I'm telling you.
So he actually introduced this wine right here, the Dinamico, which he calls a sort of super Umbrian, along the lines of a super Tuscan.
Yeah, definitely a big wine.
Yeah, structured and full.
Probably not as big as the Sagrantino, but it does have it in there with a little Cabernet and a little Merlot.
Yeah, so it's 50% Sagrantino. Ooh. So you're getting that Sagrantino quality, and then and the characteristics of Sagrantino, and then in addition to that, the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Merlot, which are common grapes in this area. They're common grapes sort of everywhere now. You actually find that this wine is something that's very accessible in its youth. It's very, very delicious, in spite of the fact that it's dark, it's rich, it's tannic and structured.
Mocha, right.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
So that leads us to the last big boy, number 4. And keep in mind, folks, that these are on sale as we speak. And today at 3 o'clock at the wine desk, I'm going to be sampling these wines to the public. As always, it's free at Argonaut. Just bring your ID. So, Ben, wine number 4.
Wine number 4 is the Montefalco Sagrantino, which is the flagship wine from Lorenzo Mattoni. He's only got a tiny, tiny vineyard here. It's about the size of 2 football fields, which is very, very small anywhere in the world. This is a grape which is, as I said, the most objectively tannic grape. However, because he has a lot of clay and sand in the soil, it makes for this really lovely softness, elegance, finesse, that sort of thing. The warming characteristic of the site that he's farming actually gives it this beautiful freshness and richness, and you have this almost like a elegance to this wine, which would otherwise described as the iron fist in a velvet glove.
I'll say. I mean, it's like I said, it's gripping, it's tannic, it's big, it needs food. You're getting wood violets and blackberries, black cherries, all your black fruit. It is a big, big wine, and it's just nothing to be taken lightly.
No, I mean, but if you're doing a steak, this is 100% it.
With chimichurri.
Chimichurri. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
My teeth and my tongue, they're hurting.
Because it needs some food in there. These are wines for food.
Yes.
But also, like, these are wines that will age dramatically.
Absolutely.
This is 2016. Mm-hmm. That's an 8-year-old wine already. So, I mean, this is a wine that will age indefinitely. Like, this really is a great gift. It's not an inexpensive wine, or it's not a cheap wine, I should say. Yeah. I think you get it for around $40 on the shelf here. But that's something that would make for a wonderful gift.
Yes.
And it's something that you can lay down This wine will age 15 to 20 years very
gorgeous.
easily.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Ben, I thank you for introducing myself and to the public for these amazing wines from your portfolio. And just to let everybody know, this coming Wednesday is our Santa's Going Back to the North Pole sale. He's done. And Argonaut is having an inventory reduction sale. 20% off all wine, 15% off all liquor, $2 off 12 packs of beer. So come on down. It's a day you don't want to miss. So Ben, thank you again. Cheers.
Cheers, Mats.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.